so it's quite interesting that listening to you, how you concluded that. It's like the core thing here is simplicity precedes scalability. And I believe now looking at my personal journey, it's like I didn't think through in detail about that how do I simplify so that in the near future I can scale. So is that something that you've noticed as one of the impediments to growing wealth, to growing businesses, not simplifying and thinking scalability?
The best business in the world are pretty much just one-liners. What I mean by that is you can explain the entire model in a simple sentence. It's
Wow.
business, right? It's really that simple. People don't want to think about how to use your product. They don't want to think. They just want to know, hey, we're going here, we're gonna have a good time. It's gonna be easy to use. I don't have to think about that. When people are using a vending machine, they don't want to have to download an app and no, they just money, Pepsi, right? That's it. Right? They're going to McDonald's, quarter pounder, sit down, eat, leave. You don't want to have to think about whether I want curry chicken or this. That's too much, right? And so then if you can simplify it, which is what people want anyway, then you have a system that is so simple that you can train someone who is 18 years old without a college degree to do that. And you can do that in anywhere in the world because there's an endless supply of finding those types of people.
Wow. Now, for you, you've explored and tinkered into many different money-making machines or assets. What are your favorites so far that you're paying attention?
I love real estate, and I also have card machines as well. Card machines are wonderful because card machines, once it's set up, every time that someone swipes, then I get paid. So that's wonderful. Yeah, those two. Others, I think it's preference too because I've
Yeah.
even tried cars as well, but I didn't like cars because of how frequently they broke down. Now, if I had started in cars and maybe I had done that before I got into real estate, maybe I would love it. However, I do know people that they are doing cars and they have a fleet of 50 or 70 cars that works for them. I know people who have not 70, but they have maybe seven high-end cars. Like they have maybe three Rolls Royces, two McLarens, right, for example, and a BMW i8. And those make a lot of money. But that's predictable. And they're in probably Miami, for example. They're not in, like Ohio, right? They're in Miami, and that's where the demand is. And that will work for them. So again,
Mhm.
whatever the system is, it's the same type of thinking. If one car makes this, one house makes this, then just keep doing it. And so to answer your question, yeah, those are some of my favorites.
Fantastic. And what are some of the beliefs you've noticed that hold people back from growing and expanding their personal financial literacy or achieving financial freedom?
This is such a great question. Uh, People believe that it's a little bit of money. And that's one of the things that unfortunately stops so many people. And I implore everyone to really think about this, right? And this is one of the things I'm writing in my book right now, which is my third book. It's going to come out eventually. So
Looking forward.
if if you are in a job and you are earning $5,000 a month, and I say to you, if you set up this vending machine, it will pay you $500 a month. You're probably thinking, why would I want $500 a month? I'm earning 5,000. Okay, cool. That's how most people think. But what they're not doing is the math of vending machines, because the math of vending machines is addition. For you to get from $5,000 to $10,000 will take you maybe 20 years. I can do that in 1 year. 1 year. If it's all I'm doing, I can do it in 1 year because I would just be
Wow.
going and talking to 50 people every day until I get to 20 vending machines. That's it.
But that takes a selling and marketing skill, the capacity to negotiate. I believe earlier we were talking about skill sets because I believe that's one of the assets to wealth creation. So for you, I think, okay, can just go talk to people and get to these machines.
Okay,
Um,
so that's a great question. Okay, so how would you solve that problem? It's really very simple. How would you solve the problem? You learn. Just like how you went to school and you learned how to do your job that you have right now. You can learn the skill of negotiation. Everything can be learned. The skill of leadership can be learned. The skill of sales can be learned. Open 2 books on sales and then go do them. Make your first, then you're going to use the testimonials from the first and you're going to keep going. But every one of the problems that we'd raise can be solved. But I think what people misunderstand is the math. And so then if I say to you that $500 can turn into $10,000 much faster than your job can, people don't believe me.
Mm,
So then they
yeah,
start one vending machine, but you don't stop with one. It's the same thing with any scalable system. If it was just one Subway or one Starbucks would not make the owner a billionaire. That's not how they do it. They have
yeah.
to have hundreds of these stores to make insane amounts of money. Because the higher you go, the more stores you have, the more you can save on even managing any one of these units. And so if you have one vending machine, your goal is to get to 20 or 15 or 10 as quickly as possible. Once you have those 10, then you're actually going to start to see a difference.
So, and you're talking about difference. There's a gentleman I was talking to, I just need to remember his name. And he was talking about, for him, he was coming from a place of saving, that every amount of money you make, save at least 30%. Because then when you do, then you have opportunity. So what I'm hearing also from your language, when you say difference, I'm hearing opportunity in that the more assets you have, the more cash flow you have, the more opportunities you have before you. So that even though you're using a different language, I'm hearing the mentality and the mindset. For you are saying, okay, you scale these businesses. For me, saying, okay, you keep saving these money so that you can access opportunity.
Well, here's the thing.
Yeah,
Saving, there is not one person who is saved their way to $1 million. Not one, right? It's investing that gets you to $1 million. No, I'm not saying that you don't save because you do need to save to have
yeah,
money in the first place. But you are
yes,
saving to invest. Now, everything that's above your emergency fund, you don't need to save that. Your emergency fund should be at least 6 months. It used to be 3. I think it should be 6. But once you
yeah,
have, some people might even say 12. Okay, cool. Once you have your emergency fund, that's not going to get you financial freedom. You can't save your way. Even if you're saving 30, 40, 50, 60, 70%, that's not going to
yeah.
get you to financial freedom. Because as we've established, even if you have $1 million at 20, that means nothing at 60. Okay? That's not going to give you time because the
Yeah,
only way that you're going to give time is if you have money coming in that is consistently paying you. That's the only way that you're going to get time, right? Because that's the idea of money working for you instead of you working for money. So you do need to save. I'm not knocking saving. However,
yeah.
if you're once you have the money that you have saved, you are saving for the purpose of investing.
Absolutely.
That
Got you.
is that is the difference.
Makes a lot of sense. So meaning if you were to boil it two words, it will be intentional saving, not just saving for the sake of saving, but you're saving
Yes.
with a purpose in mind. Wow.
No, I will tell you.
Yeah,
I will tell you, the message of saving, there are some people who do need to hear that. And here's where I have to give anybody who has that message props, because many people have a spending problem. Before they even get to investing, you need to
yeah,
have and fix the spending problem that you are having. And many people need that message.
yeah.
But for someone
Got
who
you.
does not have that issue and wants to start going to financial freedom, then they need to hear my message, right?
Absolutely. Got you. Yeah.
Because if you fix the spending problem, then you can go towards financial freedom. But if you never fix the spending problem, it doesn't matter how much you earn, you're going to spend it and you're going to lose. So both messages, depending on who you are, have a place. So I would just say that.
Fair enough. I appreciate that. I'm a big believer in skill sets. So apart from sales and marketing, negotiation, leadership, what are the other skill sets that you've, and of course, public speaking or communication in general, what are the other skill sets that you've noticed are very critical or crucial when it comes to wealth creation?
Well, okay, so I will disband a myth here because I don't want it to come across, sorry, that you need to be somebody to start this. Because I would
Yeah.
have you remember that I was an 18-year-old kid when I started my real estate journey,
Wow.
right? So I didn't
Right.
have a degree yet, right? I was a first year student. And so, and my first business project was when I was 14. I hadn't even started reading books yet. 14, 15, right? I
Yeah.
hadn't even started reading books yet. That was 2014, right? So the idea that you need to go and do a skill and then do it, that's wrong. I don't want anyone to leave here with that because they'll say, oh, well, I'll never be able to do that because I don't have that skill. That is wrong. You start And then you realize, oh, I'm lacking this skill. Let me go and get the skill. Because you don't know
Mm.
what you don't know yet. You could
Mm.
land a sale and you're not an excellent salesperson, and then you just get better at it. But everybody who's written a book on sales once didn't know about sales. Anybody who's written a book about money once didn't know about money. I once did not know anything about money, and I'm now writing books about it. So, right, the idea that you need to go and get the skill first is just backwards. It's not that. Everybody that you know that's successful, Mr. Beast, who was Mr. Beast when he was 10? Nobody. Nobody. All of us. We were nobody, right?
And now,
And then we did first. You have to do first, and then the skills come later.
I like that. So usually what I like about what you're saying is that usually people think about learn fast and then do. But you're saying no, do fast, then through doing you discover the gap, which will inspire you to learn. But I also enjoy that kind of learning because then it's intentional learning. It's demand driven
Absolutely.
rather than just acquiring a skill for the sake of the skill. And looking back through my life, I've just acquired skills for the sake, because it's a good skill to have. And it's only the last, I believe, like last year when I learned that it's better, you learn best through projects, in that when you're doing things, you learn faster and you learn more through doing stuff. So thanks for confirming that. And I wish I had learned that when I was when I was in my
Absolutely.
20s or so. I would be so far away. Now, as before we conclude this, it will be great to know, is there something that you feel is very crucial for people to know about creating the financial freedom, the wealth that they would want to have that we haven't talked about yet that you'd want to share?
It's a good question. Let me think. Is there one thing about financial freedom? Financial freedom comes through systems. Financial freedom comes through systems.
Mm. Mm.
And if you're going to accomplish financial freedom in less than 10 years, what you're essentially doing is becoming a system engineer in whatever field that you are doing. Whether it's
Mm.
vending machines or cars or Airbnbs, you are becoming a systems engineer and you are creating the system that runs like oil, so smooth that you do not need anyone to be a genius to run it. That's financial freedom today. And technology allows you to do that. I am here and the systems can run because I have internet. And something happens, you just call somebody and it's done. But the more calls you get, the worse your system is. So set up really amazing systems and financial freedom, you can get there in less than 10 years.